Hello, fellow Wellesley College graduates. My name is Marta Rayner. I'm class of 1998, and I'm also Director of Theater Studies here on our beautiful campus. We miss you, but we wish you a very, very, very happy virtual reunion. And we're so pleased to be a part of the happenings that you're going to be experiencing. What you're about to watch, the students named the Joy Library. It was a piece that was completely created from zero as part of a new course that Theater Studies offered this year called Devising Theater Performance. In any year, Theater Studies aims to find creative solutions within restrictions. But of course, we all know the tumultuous nature of this year for the live performing arts. And I must congratulate my fellow faculty, and particularly our dedicated students who showed up anyway, despite the fact that we were all reinventing this form throughout the course of this year, and found ways to perform, to direct, to write, to design, to research, to reconceive, and find new working vocabulary together. We saw leadership, we saw autonomous risk-taking, we saw reliable collaboration, excellent communication, and certainly inspired and inspiring storytellers throughout the course of this year. This project, as I said, started from nothing. The students determined that they wanted to explore facets of the experience of joy in these complex times and created an incredible array of different disparate pieces which addressed different facets of that experience. In the moment, there was a live audience who were supplying things in the chat that the performers were incorporating into their performance. However, that's not going to happen here. But we want you to know that that sense of risk and potential was embedded in the concept of the piece. And yet we think that everyone can connect in this moment to this complexity of joy that they were experiencing. And we're so happy that you've tuned in to revisit it with us. We wish you an amazing reunion. We wish you much joy. We miss you, and we can't wait to have you come back to Alumni Hall and be with us and tell stories together once again. Enjoy.
Hello, my name is Mia Silberstein, class of 2024, and on behalf of Wellesley College Theater, I would like to welcome you to tonight's performance of The Joy Library. While our actors are getting ready, I'm coming to you from the Theater Studies office, where I will be stage managing tonight's performance. That means that this is the only time you're going to see my face, since I will be working in our virtual backstage to make sure the show runs smoothly for all of you. Now, much like everything else in the world, theater and theater making has been turned on its head in the midst of the global pandemic. So for this show, we chose to embrace that sense of uncertainty and the unknown, and for the first time here at Wellesley, create a virtual devised performance. While most main stage productions at Wellesley begin with a script, this performance began from nothing. It has been entirely concocted and devised by an ensemble of 6 students, all in a little under 4 weeks. We began our process with exploration of form, which led to questions and creative responses, which in turn inspired the live and recorded work you will see tonight. But we can't do this show without you. Your active presence tonight completes the work that we've been doing in class, and we ask for your presence in the form of the chat feature. You can choose to see the chat, or you can choose to hide it by clicking the View Full Screen icon in the bottom left. But we do welcome your contributions in the chat throughout the show, so feel free to put supportive energy, reactions, or just thoughtful musings as we all discover together. And if you do choose to engage with the chat, you can expect a moment in the performance where your input will be solicited, so don't be shy. We've challenged ourselves to play with the unknown in this piece, So by helping us in the chat, you're just keeping us honest. And since we're talking about honesty, there is a slight lag between the Zoom we're working on and the Vimeo link you're watching on. But in the spirit of these times and this show, we're just gonna roll with it, and we hope you will too. So let's practice. In the chat, please share with us the most beautiful word or words you can think of. Beautiful because of how they sound or because of what they mean. And we ask that you hold that experience of searching, visualizing, discovery, association, striving for community, all in your hearts as we finally enter the doors of the Joy Library.
W E L C E W E L W E L C O M E W E W E W E L C O M E. Welcome! Welcome!
Property of the Joy Library. Please return at your convenience. Dear customer, please find the item you requested enclosed. Due to the unprecedented demand for the same item, we have sent you iteration number 576 of the recipe for Joy Stew. We hope it is satisfactory. With love and light, the librarian, Joy Library. Recipe for Joy Stew, iteration number 576 of Infinity. Ingredients: 1 morel mushrooms, 1 snail mail, 1 trombone, 1 canoe, 1 falling leaves, 1 Narnia, 1 finger knitting, 1 bonfire. Step 1. Get 1 bowl. Whatever sizes to your liking will do. Step 2. Fill with water. Step 3. Bring to a boil. Step 4. Think of the last time you were joyful. Stir. Step 5. Add the ingredients in any order you please. Note, the order in which you combine your ingredients will change the flavor of your joy. Choose accordingly. Stir well until combined. Falling leaves make joy taste like crisp, clear air, heady with the scent of life returning to its source. thick with the promise of rebirth. Trombones make joy taste like full and clear bellows. They taste of depth, polish, and grandiosity, soaring upwards to mingle with the darkening sky as the curtain rises. Finger knitting makes joy taste like faintly crackling fires, hot, sweet tea, the tangle of soft fibers against warming skin, and comfort. Snail mail makes joy taste like stale, prized stamps, new paper, crisp, delicate folds, and longing. Bonfires make joy taste like thick wood smoke, raucous laughter, heartfelt and tipsy folk tunes belted to the heavens, warm blankets, and the familiar company of old friends. Morel mushrooms make joy taste like rich, saturated soil and cool shade. They taste of a secret hideaway and soft celebration upon discovery, so as not to disturb the blossoming earth. Canoes make joy taste like clear skies, streaming sunlight, crowded, warm wood shops, smooth waters, and the shrinking shoreline in the face of adventure. Narnia makes joy taste like innocence, childlike wonder, and magic. It tastes of rocks becoming sentient, trees whistling in harmony with the wind, dirty knees and joyful giggles, and hidden fairy houses that glow in the fading light when your back is turned. Step 7. Bottle up and freeze for the next time you require a reserve of joy.
Stop.
This book is very well loved.
Stop. Stop.
As long as he liked.
Looks like the book's about to fall apart.
It is.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
Using magic.
Is that a Harry Potter book?
So many. The whole
Stop.
section. Another one.
Stop. Stop.
Old washerwoman.
Stop.
You made it off the Harry Potter shelf. Good job.
Stop. Stop.
No better than these nothings.
Stop. Stop. Ooh, pictures. Stop.
Morning sunlight.
Stop.
I hate this book.
Stop. Stop.
I love you so much.
But not the book.
If only.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
Was on the roof.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
Completing it.
Stop.
Ugh. Ooh, these have the good perforated pages.
Stop. Stop.
Agatha, the schoolmaster.
Stop.
Ooh, I'm doing a poor job.
Stop. Stop.
Heirlooms of our house.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
Deep breaths. Stop.
Deep breaths.
Yeah. So we're just gonna go kick some leaves.
I like it.
Have some feelings.
I feel like that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, kids are weird.
Kids are weird.
Children are basically like tiny little demons.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can put that in.
Oh my god. Wouldn't that be funny if I like fell down, broke my leg? I'm just like laying here in the woods forever. Ooh! I'm gonna draw something. I don't know what though. I think I'm gonna draw a little smiley face. Oh man. That's kind of shitty. I can't. I'm not really a very good artist.
But that which most I wonder at, which most I did esteem my bliss, which most I boast and ever shall enjoy, is that within I felt no stain nor spot of sin. No darkness then did overshade, but all within was pure and bright. No guilt did crush, no fear invade, and all my soul was full of light. A joyful sense of purity is all I can remember. The very night to me was bright, 'twas summer in December. No inward inclination did I feel to avarice or pride. My soul did kneel in admiration all the day. No lust nor strife polluted then my infant life. No fraud nor anger in me moved. No malice, jealousy, or spite. All that I saw I truly loved. Contentment only and delight. Whate'er it is a light so endless unto me that I a world of true delight did then and to this day do see. That prospect was the gate of heaven. That day the ancient light of Eden did convey into my soul. I was an atom there, a little atom in a sphere of joys. Oh, there my ravished sense was entertained in paradise, and had a sight of innocence which was beyond all hope and price. An antepast of heaven sure, I on the earth did reign. Within, without me, all was pure. I must become a child again.
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 Hello, dear audience. For this next piece, we would like to invite all of you to put in the chat any words or phrases that you associate with joy. Throw them all in there right now. Any words or phrases that bring you joy, and we will use that very soon in this next piece, which is called Memory Tag. It is based on an exercise that was developed by SIQ, an ensemble that hails from Chicago's South Side. And it's sort of an associative memory game. So how it will work is in a moment, I will open the chat and look at everything that you are now putting in there. And I will start to list off those words and phrases. And as soon as one of those words sparks a memory of joy within one of us, we will begin to tell a story of that memory. And as soon as that story sparks a memory in someone else, they will say stop, and they will begin to tell their story of joy, and till the next person says stop, and then they will overlap and overlap, and we have no idea where it will take us, but it will weave a web and a net of some sort of joy and chaos and wonder together. So I'll give a couple more seconds for any final thoughts of joy to percolate, and I will now open the chat and we will begin. Warmth, love, precipice, rainy day, family games, sunshine, waves.
Stop. So I have a really big family, right? So when I was little, we all used to get together at my grandmother's house and do a lot of different things on holidays. And so one Easter, my whole adult family hid all the eggs around the entire yard in the backyard. And I remember being a little kid running around trying to find these eggs.
Stop.
And obviously I'm just looking.
Stop. So we used to do a similar thing, but one time I was in charge of hiding the eggs, and they were these little plastic.
Stop. There was one Easter that we have filmed, and I was watching those old family video type thing. I was watching them, and there's this one where Adam, my brother, who's now 11, he was 3, and he goes over, he has a little basket, he's in his little PJs, and he goes over to find an egg. It's Easter, and we had hidden eggs around the house, and he goes, "It's an egg." And it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. I think he's in the audience right now, so hi, Adam. But it's just amazing. And we keep going
There
around.
was one year that my friends decided that instead of plastic eggs, they were going to hide real hard-boiled dyed eggs around their house. And so they proceeded to do this. And then they found all but one. And they had to wait until they smelled the rotting egg to be able to find it. And that was about that time that they decided.
One time in my kitchen in the house, we kept smelling this fermented smell, and we couldn't figure out
Stop.
why.
There was one time in our house that we were why does it smell like really bad broccoli? And it turns out there was a dead possum under our house.
Earlier this year, we were eating dinner, and my sister let out a scream because she thought she saw a worm in her broccoli, and we were all like, "Molly, there's no way that you saw a worm in your broccoli," until she found another.
On Halloween, I got into the shower to take a normal shower. Not only was there a moth in the shower, there was then a spider.
Stop. One time I found a moth in the shower here in Tower Court, and I screamed so loud, and then one of my floor mates was in the bathroom, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And so I'm jumping out the bathroom trying to fumble, put on my mask on, and then I realized
last year my roommate caught a spider in our room in one of my jars that I had on my desk.
Stop. Okay, so my blockmate, who I love and probably is watching right now, is like very afraid of spiders. And so one time she like had a spider in her room and we couldn't find it and it like got lost. And so I tried to catch it.
Stop. My roommate first year was an international student who had never seen snow before. So on the first snowfall, I took her outside and we were like having a wholesome time. And then I threw snow on her head and was like, haha, pranked. It was great.
Stop. During the last snowfall here at Tower Court, my friend came out during the fire drill with like bedroom shoes on, and so I'm carrying her on my back, and we have to go through this tree because it's like bending down.
During the last fire drill, my blockmate and I were outside, and I was wearing flip-flops, and she was wearing Uggs, and it was really cold, so she gave me one Ugg, and I gave her one flip-flop.
Stop. I used to do shows all the time with my dance studio in Orange County, and there was this one show where we were performing at a mall, and we had these bright red Vans that we wore. And so I pulled out my Vans, and it turns out they're both left shoes. And I go, oh my God, how did I do that? And not only was one of the left shoes another left shoe, but it was like 3 sizes too small. And then the rest of the day, my mom had to go around to like a million Van stores to try to find these bright red Vans. And so I probably still have like 4 pairs of red Vans in my closet, which obviously I don't wear
Speaking
anymore.
of malls, there was this one time when I lived on a tiny island in Alaska, and we did this Relay for Life thing, and it's usually outside and you run, except that it was pouring.
I was really sick our first year for the Boston Marathon, so I didn't actually get to see it. It was really sad. While everyone was out having fun, I was stuck in Schaefer. Luckily, my partner Larissa, who's probably in the audience, hi, was with me and took care of me and walked all the way to like CVS to get me SpaghettiOs because all I wanted in all the world was SpaghettiOs.
Stop. My first year, there was a monster blizzard, and I'm from Wisconsin, so I was like, this is Tuesday, right? So the whole town is shut down. I pulled on my snow boots, and I'm just like tromping into CVS. I'm the only one there. The guy behind the counter is like he's seen a ghost, and I'm like, do you have macaroni and cheese? And yeah, Wisconsin winters are something else, you guys.
There is no macaroni and cheese in this country. I'm in England, no mac and cheese. All I want in life is like Annie's mac and cheese. The only mac and cheese that
The other day I was feeling really homesick, and so I called my grandmother and I'm like, hey, how do I bake macaroni and cheese?
Stop. So while Zaria's internet is figuring itself out, there was this one time
all the way to
You froze. Keep going.
all the way until I get to the end where I've like baked this mac and cheese, and I think it's the cutest thing in the world. So she's like so proud of me, right? And she's
the best mac and cheese I ever had was at this restaurant in Boston, and I don't remember the name, but also
one time at my first party in Boston, we went to a restaurant and we saw these really cute Berkeley boys.
Stop. Game over.
Oh, hi. Welcome. Come on in. You just caught me doing some reading. If you'd like, I could share the story that I'm reading about. I love this story. It brings me so much happiness. And I think it will bring you some too. To start off this story, we have our friend, the sheep. Now, a little about this sheep. He loves to dance, and he's good at it too. He dances all around the village day and night. Another thing about this sheep, he loves his appearance. I mean, look at him. He's beautiful. His coat of wool is full, and he has so much confidence in himself, and he brings his confidence to his dancing. All of his friends join in to dance and watch him dance too. His friends, the groundhogs, scurry on along and join in on the dancing fun. His friends, the fish, plop on out of the water and swim on over. And even his friend, the snake, slithers on over to join in on the fun. All of his friends love, 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 love dancing with our friend, the sheep here. Well, one day, something happens. Along comes a wagon and takes the sheep away. No one knows what happens to him, except that he's returned a couple hours later. something's different about him. His wool is shaved completely. And he gets up and he tries to dance, but he's too wobbly to dance. And so all of his friends who used to love to dance with him laugh at him because he's funny looking and wobbly. And eventually they all leave. His friends, the groundhog, scurry along. His friends, the sheep, plop back into the water and swim away. And even his friend, the snake, slithers along, leaving our friend, the sheep, all alone. Well, one day, along comes a rabbit, bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, until he bounces upon our friend, the sheep here. Now, a little about this rabbit. He has enough confidence and wisdom to light up the entire village. And so, he's bounced upon our friend, the sheep here, and he sees him all alone and sad, crying against this rock. And he goes up to him and says, "Hey, what's the matter with you? Why are you all alone against this rock, crying?" And so our friend the sheep tells him what happened. "I used to be somebody. My coat of wool was full and I could dance all over the place. But then they took me away and shaved me. And they threw me back here naked. And I can't even dance, I'm wobbly. And all of my friends laughed at me and left me all alone." Now, the rabbit knew exactly why the sheep was feeling the way that he was feeling. So he gave him some words of advice. "Listen, that's life. Sometimes things happen. You just have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep bouncing. Bouncing, 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 and rebound." So, our friend the sheep tried this advice, and he started out slow, bouncing, bouncing, and bouncing, until eventually he rebounded, and he had his confidence back, and he loved to bounce and bounce no matter what he looked like. And eventually his friends, realizing that he still loved to dance and bounce around, came back and joined him. All of the groundhogs joined in, the fish joined in, and the snake joined in on the fun too. And so eventually they're all bouncing together with the sheep. And eventually, our friend the sheep grows back, beautiful and full and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And he doesn't let this stop him. And so one day, when the wagon comes along and takes our friend the sheep away, they bring him back a few hours later, naked and shaved. And so he just picks himself up, dusts himself off, and bounces, 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 and rebounds. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this story. It's one of my favorites. I think I'm going to go back to my reading now. You're welcome to stay, just keep it down a little. I miss taking random trips into Boston and forgetting to bring a coat, so having to buy what is now my favorite sweater at the Gap for $60.
I miss cancellation lines for theater shows.
I miss going to the Ville where I would go to Starbucks, CVS, other things, just the Ville in general.
I miss being able to visit my cousins.
I miss taking random trips to New York City in the middle of the school year.
Miss my dog.
I miss Broadway.
I miss Hot Pot in Boston.
I miss eating at restaurants in Boston for way too much money.
I miss end of semester fondue.
Ooh. I miss holiday dinner at Shake's.
I miss my cats.
I miss the end of the year that I never got to experience here at Wellesley.
I miss tech rehearsals.
I miss working at the archives.
I miss my physical being in alum.
I also miss being inside of alum.
I miss Russian literature classes with Thomas Hodge at 9:50 a.m. on the 4th floor of Founders.
I miss in-person office hours.
I miss in-person office hours.
I miss being in Green Hall in my French class, even though I did horrible in it.
I miss Russian department lunches on Fridays.
I miss the McAfee Common Room.
I miss going to events just for their food.
I miss hanging out in Tishman with my friends during White Party.
I miss hugs.
I miss hugging my grandparents.
I miss playing live music with people.
I miss going into Boston with no plan and ending up at a random frat and having the time of your life.
I miss improv games.
I miss
Wednesday, 25th November, 2020. I've been in England over 3 months now, and in lockdown for almost half of that. After the cancellation of the 3rd study abroad program that I had hoped to attend this spring, life has felt increasingly gray, like the saturation dial of the whole world is being slowly turned down. I marvel at the way everything around me seems to be aging so fast. I feel like I'm aging too. The other night I went for a walk. It must have been past 10, and I walked until I came to a field. And I crossed the road and I went and stood in that field, just feeling the empty space around me. The land is so flat here, and the fields just stretch for miles and miles. You can't escape them. No matter what direction you go in, they're still there, stretching out all around you as far as you can see. And then you feel very, very small. And I suppose that's all any of this is about, really. Feeling small. Like a fly in a toilet bowl that's about to be flushed. Like something's gone wrong with the fabric of the space-time continuum and we're all stuck down right where we are, unable to hop about and choose our own paths. Unable to go down the wrong path and backtrack, or wake up and decide to drop everything and take a new path entirely. It's like going to a restaurant and there's only parsnips on the menu. And you're like, hang on, I don't even like parsnips. What about all the other things? And the waiter says, there are no other things. We only serve parsnips now. That's all we grow. In fact, that's all anyone grows, anywhere in the world now. Just parsnips. Wherever you go, just fields and fields of parsnips, as far as the eye can see. And that's been a bit what it's felt like these past few months. Like every time there's a promise of something new, it just turns out to be another field of parsnips, stretching out to infinity. And that's when I realized that all the joy I'd been feeling was a joy of tomorrow. It was a joy that sparked from the promise of greater things that were to come, and in the absence of that promise, I was left with nothing. That was a moment of reckoning for me, really, because standing in the field that night, I felt the future sort of dropping away, and in its place was left only the here and the now and the painfully, blindingly immediate. And I was forced to ask, what is here? What is now? And what joy is there to be found on this day, at this hour, in this beautiful, terrible, wonderful country that took me in and held me down and showed me a myriad tapestry of adventures and opportunities and possibilities just out of reach, saying, not yet, child, not yet. And I began to see, as if for the first time, the things that were here and now and present. The orange glow of the street lamp out my window, that's so unique and so unlike that of any other street lamp I've ever seen. The way the fall here turns the world to copper. Ferns bronze all at once, and leaves burn and crisp around the edges like a casserole cooked too fast. The lady behind the desk at the post office, who weighs and stamps every precious letter I send while telling me about her daughter who's a primary school teacher. The children in their matching uniforms who walk home from school past my window every day, many of whom I've come to recognize and watch for. This is my borrowed world, my field of gathered seeds planted in the cold November earth. And maybe they'll grow into parsnips, and maybe they'll grow into some better, brighter world to come. But for now, the joy is here, in this day, this street lamp and this tree, this letter and these fields that stretch for miles.
Just make it through this piece.
I discovered reading on my windowsill while looking at the snow.
I discovered cross-stitch patterns.
I discovered Zoom dance class.
I discovered lots of new board games.
I discovered crocheting for other people.
I discovered walking outside at random hours.
I've discovered weekly game nights with my high school friends.
I've discovered making soup.
I discovered walking my community director's dog to Lulu late at night and not having any poop bags, so realizing that there's going to be frozen poop on the ground in the morning.
I discovered immersion blenders.
I discovered my succulent named Seymour.
I discovered Zoom fiddle workshops.
I discovered that when you have white stuff growing on your succulent, that means it's going to die very soon.
I discovered that if you put too much water in between the leaves of your orchid, they will rot and fall off, and then it will die.
I discovered how beautiful my neighborhood is.
I discovered lots of ways to use farm share veggies.
I discovered lake walks.
I discovered how to crossbreed squash.
I discovered long drives with my mom listening to musical theater.
I discovered Great Britain.
I discovered that Apple has something similar to Spotify Wrapped, but it's not as good.
I discovered Fiddler on the Roof.
I discovered more family time.
I discovered the Dick Van Dyke Show.
I discovered watching Cycle 19 of America's Next Top Model.
I discovered tea cakes.
I discovered decorating my dorm room with Christmas decorations.
2017, I wrote in a journal I kept at the time that holding on to those memories keeps me going. Keeps me going, keeps me going. I've held on to these memories and pages of diaries. Even knowing, each one has its ups and downs, some cringy but wonderful parts. Each one I have kept close to my heart. I was a funny little kid. I thought myself a princess, and in everything I did I would succeed. I recorded life in these pages. I said that my mom was bossy, that my dad was crazy, that they just could not see what I was, who I was going to be. Wrote songs that I was royalty, with diamonds in my hair. Pretend to go to Disneyland, where everyone would stare. And though I left each journal with half the thing unfilled, looking back through each one makes me thrilled. Don't keep a journal full of dreams. I mean the ones you have at night. It's more boring than it seems when you look back. I've learned that from these pages. Middle school me had a couple boyfriends and had a lot of drama, but nothing close to trauma, not at all. Once again, half these journals are empty, but I wrote songs about those boys, of summers spent apart, not knowing then that breaking up would crush my little heart. And even what I failed to write down, the friends and adventures I remember, I've kept them all inside my head each year through December. Since then, I've been much more consistent. Through high school and college, I've kept way more journals, each one more persistent in my life. It's hard to look back through these pages. These books hold on to so much heartache, so much stress and longing that no longer belongs inside my head. Still, I keep them with me despite this, for even through these trying times, I fueled them into songs. Just like my younger selves, by singing, nothing could go wrong. And looking through them now, I am astonished to have found 22 songs written by me. I'm so grateful for that sound. They keep me going, keep me going. Not just words, but ones I've put to song. Even knowing, few will ever hear them, but that was not the point. They were for me, this one's for you. So look back through your journals, you don't know what you will find. I'm so glad I did with mine. They keep me going.
Have you tried the cake? It's good. Maybe you're thinking, I've already eaten, or I want to dance later and I don't want to feel bloated. Maybe you're thinking, I'm on a diet. But then, how many times will you be offered a piece of cake as delicious as this? Perhaps 2 or 3 times a year, if you're lucky. Over the course of your life, maybe 200 times. And how many times will you refuse? How many times will you go skinny dipping in the moonlight? Maybe 7, if you're lucky. How many times will you lie on your back in the grass and watch the stars? How many times will you let yourself be completely overwhelmed by the great, inconceivable expanse of the universe? There are so many chances to take. And of course, you don't know when it will end. So it all feels limitless.
As long as he liked. Using magic. Old washerwoman. No better than these nothings. Morning sunlight. I love you so much. Was on the roof. Completing it. The schoolmaster. Heirlooms of our house. Deep breaths. Morning sunlight lit the old house. Heirlooms danced like magic in the warmth. The old woman dripping in surprise, taking it all in. The schoolmaster drifting in the snow. Old washboards doubling as sleds. Kids running on air, hands frozen and eyes full of joy. Roofs white as snow and fires red as the sun. Deep breaths, complete thoughts. Life and love and nothing better in between.
Joy. When I think of joy, I think of the first time I cantered my horse after he had recovered from his injuries. When he first arrived at the barn, he was really hurt and he was not having a great time of it. He wasn't taken care of. But that first time I got him up into a canter, I realized that this is what I want to do. I want to work with horses for my life.
Joy is more than just an emotion. It's a belief. If you don't believe in joy, you certainly won't feel it. I know that it's been hard to feel joy during quarantine. Trust me, I know. I'm a competitive gymnast, and I just had the biggest competition of my life ripped away from me in a heartbeat. So I know just how hard it can be. But if you can find joy, even in the littlest of things, the toddler who waves at you despite not even knowing you, or the brightly colored lollipops that the waiters or waitresses at restaurants hand to you or your children, or the accomplishment you feel when you complete an essay for remote school. If you can find joy even in those tiny things, then trust me, your life is about to get a whole lot better.
I believe joy is a radical act, and I believe this in part because of what I understand radical to be, which is defined by Angela Davis, referring to the etymology of the word radical, and she says radical means simply getting to the root. And that, for me, is also what joy is, that deepest possible level of connection that exists between people, between a viewer and a work of art, or a reader or a listener and a work of art, and in ultimately the recognition of the deepest possibilities when we recognize that connection and interdependence. Joy is a sustaining force, not simply happiness, although it can be happy. I've found an easier access to joy in seeing and recognizing it as a quality of energy that can come from different emotions, even anger, even sadness, even grief, because it's in the true expression, the true witnessing of those feelings, and then the deeper understanding that those feelings are shared, that we find more connection and then joy in that space.
I would like to describe something that brings me joy pretty regularly, but it always catches me off guard because it makes me so very happy. And that's when I'm cooking and I say, Alexa, play Lizzo. And she plays Lizzo, and it makes me so happy to be able to dance in my kitchen and cook. And it's a simple thing, but it brings me great joy.
The word joy comes from the Latin root gaudere, which is to rejoice. And that's a more active relationship than experiencing joy. We choose to participate in letting go, and I can feel delight. I can feel my soul lighten when I choose to rejoice. And I suppose that's when it is a radical act. That's where the choice to be present and open without thought and judgment is the radical antithesis of our modern product-driven culture. And it's been a wonderful reminder to me that I can slow down and I can choose to be in that moment, and I can choose to access that joy.
We choose passion.
Puppies.
Contagious laughter.
Bubbles.
Meatloaf.
Playgrounds.
Letters.
Swing sets.
Music.
Merry-go-rounds.
One UGG and one flip-flop.
Gymnastics.
Renaissance.
Going on walks.
Pears.
Trees.
Dogs.
Silverstein.
Jewelry.
Effervescence.
Rainy days.
Libraries.
Each other.
Acting.
Family games.
Hair dye.
Zoom theater.
Horses.
We choose joy.
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 Sow the seeds, hoe the fields, feed the chickens, and
and politics continues to evolve. One change is a broader
but you turn the other cheek. And
My uncle.
And I was amazed to see myself.
so criminal, bruises on both my knees for you. Don't say things. Some guidance from above. These people got me questioning.
There, and so Narcissus just thought that it was an echo.
Curled themselves up and rolled round and round, painted jaguar.
God, why?
I'm that bad type, make your mama sad.
One after another,